Hello, it's Nicolette. Let's go to a castle. Spring has finally arrived. This past week was the warmest it's been in months, so I woke up at sunrise and decided to take an hour train ride to Fontainebleau. The city is located just southeast of Paris and is home to the famous Château de Fontainebleau. If you know me, you know I love a good castle. And I can genuinely say this is the most impressive one I have ever visited. I spent all day here and only just scratched the surface of its 1,500 plus rooms and over 300 acres of parks and gardens. I brought my camera along with me and thought we could explore a bit together. Are you ready? Let's go. The first traces of the castle date back to the 12th century. Additional building, expansion, and renovation continued all the way into the 19th century. As a result, the castle is more like several castles combined, with medieval, Renaissance, and classical styles all present. It's been the residence of centuries of French kings and emperors, from Francois I through Napoleon III. So yes, even that Napoleon lived here. Francois I had a vision of making Fontainebleau a new Rome, a center of Renaissance art. So there's a rich Italian influence throughout much of the chateau, most notably in the Francois I Gallery. It's 60 meters long and is lined with artwork depicting stories from Greco-Roman mythology. The level of detail in this room, and honestly every room of the castle, is astounding. I chose to take the self-guided tour, and it just kept going. Literally room after room, each one more impressive than the last. I went on a Saturday, which is the castle's busiest day, but it didn't feel crowded. There were many times when I found myself in a completely empty room, as if I were exploring the castle alone. The entire experience was surprisingly calm and peaceful. Except for this one room that was eerily very dark and definitely felt haunted. And I know there were a lot of visitors because by the time I got there, they were completely sold out of guided audio tours. But that was fine with me because it was enough sensory overload simply walking through the castle in silence. One of the most visually stimulating rooms was this bedroom, nicknamed the Chambre des 6 Maries, due to the 6 different Maries that slept there, including Marie Antoinette herself. The bed was designed for her in 1787 and remains in the room. Right next door was one of my favorite rooms, le boudoir de la reine. It first served as the Queen's cabinet in the 17th century, but then in the late 1700s was designed for Marie Antoinette. There's a small passage connecting this room to the throne room. Very different vibe, but still incredibly impressive. This room I dubbed the Jungle Room, simply because fabric reminded me of Graceland's Jungle Room if it were transported to 18th century France. This is actually referred to as the Emperor's bedroom because it was Napoleon's bedroom. And if he decided he didn't want to walk the few paces from his office to this room, he could take a nap on the camper bed installed in his office. Apparently, this chateau is the most furnished of the French royal castles. And that's quite evident. I don't think I've ever seen that many chairs in a single day. I entered this room about partway through the self-guided tour, and a young girl walked in and exclaimed, "Encore les chaises," which essentially means still more chairs. And honey, yes, we had so many chairs left to see. The ceilings were also stunning. My favorite being the one in the guard room. This room also houses a massive porcelain Renaissance vase. The ballroom sounds like it was a blast circa Francois I times. There would be masquerades and parties, and apparently he'd often show up dressed as a centaur. It was common to have banquets in the ballroom and then clear out the tables so everyone could dance the night away. There's also a beautiful chapel which you can enter and sit on the velvet benches. After spending several hours walking through the castle, I headed out to the grounds. And this is when I fully realized just how massive the castle is. I had entered through a small garden at the side entrance, so exiting on the opposite side of the castle where the main gardens and grounds are was a bit of a shock. The grounds encompass over 300 acres. There's the small Diane garden, which I entered through, the carp pond, and a larger English garden, modeled after 18th century English gardens. Across the street, there is a massive canal and park, which is also part of the castle grounds. But after a long afternoon of wandering the castle, I was ready for a nap. So I laid in the grass and enjoyed the spring weather and bird song, and honestly, the peace and quiet that is often so difficult to find in central Paris. The fact that this is only an hour outside of the city is pretty remarkable. And the gardens and grounds of the castle are free to the public. You only need to buy a ticket to enter the inside of the palace. I'm happy to know this little oasis is only a train ride away. I'll definitely be coming back. But for now, it's time to head back to Paris. I hope you enjoyed our day at the castle. What was your favorite room? Let me know in the comments. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. Au revoir.